It is Super Bowl week. How are you guys doing, hot takers? This is the hot take with Jon and Daniel. This is your boy Jon.
This is Daniel.
You know it's Super Bowl week. Daniel, how you feeling about it? Can you feel it in the air?
I am very excited because my team's in the Super Bowl. Go Patriots, go Tom Brady. Took off on a plane today, so I think we're prepared.
I think this is like the one time of the year that like every football fan is happy until they realize that after this weekend there'll be no more football games for like another 6 months.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough.
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
You become a March Madness fan, but I think today we're gonna start out with breaking down the position groups for each team, which one is better. Compare contrasting. We're gonna start with the defensive line.
I mean, that's easy. The Eagles' defensive line is full of monsters.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox leads them. He's a beast. How much does he get paid? Like over 100
Fletcher
million?
Cox, Graham, Chris Long, Barrett,
yeah.
all former first-round picks.
Supposedly they go 9 deep on the defensive line, so they can rotate them. Everybody's fresh all the time.
The Patriots' defensive line is not as good, so
It's
I'm
not as
giving
good.
the edge to the Eagles' defensive
they're
line.
more like a run stop maybe, or like we don't even know who the defensive line for the Patriots really are.
You have the guy Brown from Texas. He was a first-round pick.
Yeah, the D tackle, and we know that James Harrison is now the DN, but
outside linebacker
mix. Yeah, it's not really the same.
I mean, the linebacker position. Does any team have any really standout linebackers? Not
Would
really.
you say Van Noy is a standout linebacker?
I give the edge to the Eagles collectively, but
yeah, if we're gonna group it in the front seven.
If we do front seven, then Eagles win.
Eagles win.
Just because of those front four guys, they're all first-round picks. They're all tremendous athletes.
Yeah, it's kind of when you look if you look like athlete per athlete, Eagles versus Patriots, you would assume just based off athleticism, Eagles have the nod.
I'm gonna go into that later. Even though Eagles have more athletes,
we have more skill.
It's athletes versus system.
Yeah,
and athletes get tired. Systems don't.
Yeah.
Shout out to Heard that today. Now we're gonna go into the defensive backs. I'm actually giving the edge to the
Patriots, Malcolm Butler,
and Stephon Gilmore,
McCourty, Patrick Chung.
I have a lot of respect for those four.
Everybody counted them out because they're giving out 300 yards at the beginning of the season. But then recently, I mean, they haven't really been getting torched. They've been don't break. That's a problem. They're not going to get all the.
The Patriots defense gives up a lot of yardage. We know they do. They give out a crap load of yardage. They're just handing them out like people hand out food at a homeless shelter. But when they get into the end zone, something changes. Belichick changes. He finds a system that doesn't allow you to score touchdowns. And let's be real. 7 compared to 3 is not the same thing.
Yeah. He's all right with you getting 3 field goals because Brady's probably going to get 7 points. But, that's the thing. It's the bend don't break. I personally, as a fan, it makes me go crazy because they're driving down the field and you know what Belichick's trying to do. It's just as a fan, you're like, what the hell is going on here? But we saw it last week. When they need to shut it down, they shut it down.
O-line, I'm giving it Eagles just because of Lane Johnson.
I'm not giving them the edge.
You're not giving them the edge?
Peters is out. That's a backup over there.
Still, Lane Johnson is such good of a football player. He's a freaking beast.
Yeah, but the rest of the line?
What's wrong with the rest of the line?
The reason why they were so great before they had Jason Peters and
Lane Johnson.
So
the thing is,
so the guards don't have to do that much.
Even their center is really good. The whole line is really good overall, and the Patriots' O-line is not that good.
I mean, Saxonsville. How many sacks do they have?
I'll give you that. You didn't hear Calais Campbell do anything. I want to break up tight ends to wide receivers. Because wide receivers, I'm giving the edge to the Eagles. But tight ends.
We have
Gronkowski.
That's enough said.
I'm going to go into later how Gronkowski and Zach Ertz are both mismatched problems for both the defense. But Gronkowski is a Hall of Famer. Zach Ertz isn't.
Yeah, that's going to be a big matchup, which tight end will abuse more. But the only reason why I give the nod to the Patriots for Gronkowski over Zach Ertz really is because I feel like Zach Ertz is a great athlete.
He's not Gronkowski.
He's not Gronkowski.
Gronkowski's once in a generation.
We don't hear how we're going to stop Zach Ertz this week.
Yeah.
That's not what people talk about all Super Bowl week coming up week, so I'm going to give it to that since we're dividing tight ends and receivers. But don't count Amendola out.
I like Algora on the Eagles. How do you pronounce his name? Nelson
Aguilar
or something like that. I love him. The thing is, did you know he was going to get cut last season?
Yeah, I know he's going to get cut, and then because
They,
he was supposed to make a big splash last year, but
he didn't.
he did not. It's all right though.
But
They're
there's
in
not a
there.
lot of standout players on the Eagles or Patriots wide receiving core. It's pretty much going to come down to Zach Ertz and
Gronkowski.
Gronkowski.
Yeah.
All right, for the easiest matchup, well, we have two more matchups, but both of them are really easy. You have coaching and quarterback. So which one
Yeah.
do you want to tackle first?
Coaching quarterback. Peterson did show us some brilliance
He's not
last week,
Belichick.
but we have to give him his props for
But is
his
he
brilliance
Belichick?
I come on now.
Do
I'm
you
a
think he's
Patriot fan. I
Belichick?
know he's not
Thank
Belichick,
you. Just answer
but
the
I'm
question.
trying to give him some props before I tear him down.
I enjoy Doug Peterson, but coaching wise, he will get out coached by Belichick.
I totally agree. It'll be like varsity versus the pros. It's gonna be like JV. It's like, oh, we're gonna scrimmage the big boys today. No, it's not. It's not gonna be the
The
same.
funny thing about it is once Belichick goes into halftime and he starts making adjustments, that I always for me, I feel like you see the real coaching battle in the second half. The
Yeah.
first half, the guys come out and they do what they do best. You don't really have to take a coaching genius. You just have to do what you do. Be really good at what you do. But the second half is when you make adjustments and you change your game plan
Yeah.
to fit the game. That's when you see who is the better coach.
That's where I'm wondering what would Doug Peterson do, because the first game against the Falcons, okay, Nick Foles won, but it wasn't a crazy game like last week. They developed something. They have an offense, a run pass option. But when you have Belichick, you know that Belichick is
He's
looking
gonna
at
have
all
something
those
for
run
that.
pass options. So what will they do now?
I think right now you need to keep. I'll go into keeping Nick Foles comfortable. For the last matchup, it's the really thing to say. You have Tom Brady and Nick Foles.
Yeah, the
Um.
goat, the goat.
Well, I mean, Nick Foles has a core name. Tom Brady doesn't. Nick Foles has lost one playoff game. Tom Brady has lost 9. Nick Foles was on Napoleon Dynamite. Tom Brady has never started in a movie.
I didn't even know this.
Nick Foles is not on Napoleon Dynamite.
Say this is insane.
But let's be real. Nick Foles have 2 giant pair of balls.
What are we talking about?
Tom Brady
here now?
deflates them.
Okay.
There we go. So now we know who's our best quarterback here.
Okay. I didn't know we were going to take that turn.
All seriousness, though, Tom Brady and Nick Foles is not a question.
Yeah.
You have the greatest quarterback ever. It's not even an argument anymore. I feel like Tom Brady transcends sports as the greatest ever. I feel he's better than Jordan. And you have Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, Nick Foles, we all thought, I'm sorry, anybody who said they called that the Eagles would be in the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz, they're lying, okay? We all thought they were going to get bounced by the Falcons. But he has persevered. And I kind of give it more to Doug Peterson than Nick Foles. I mean, it's a run pass option. It's simplified reads. I'm pretty sure anybody who knows anything about football sees if the linebacker comes down, you throw the ball. If the linebacker stays, you hand off the ball.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. So if you're Doug Peterson, do you keep the offense simple to keep Nick Foles comfortable, knowing you're playing Bill Belichick?
I don't. That's the thing. If I'm Doug Peterson, I'm going to try to. Okay, yes, the base of our plays will be still to make him comfortable, simplify it for him. But you're going to have to throw something in there. You're going to have to do some change.
But the thing is, can Nick Foles do that? Nick Foles, you're putting him in a Super Bowl. You're putting him in his
He had 2 weeks.
I don't know if that's enough time to game plan for Bill Belichick.
No, you're not game planning a whole new game plan. You're adding plays. You're adding different things he can do.
And I don't know if he feels comfortable doing that.
Comfortable? He has 2 weeks. He's a pro athlete. He can be comfortable not having to do a run pass option some plays.
I feel like you keep it simple. You risk allowing Bill Belichick to figure. No, I know you risk allowing Bill Belichick to figure out what you're doing, but you have to keep Nick Foles in a position where he feels comfortable.
So what happens when somehow Bill Belichick stops a run pass option? You just see Nick Foles back there, like, what the hell's going on? He's comfortable though. But how is an offense simplified going to help them against Belichick?
Because if you overcomplicate Nick Foles, his brain will blow up.
If you just have what he can only do not work, what's going to happen?
Doug Peterson has made a very simple offense since Nick Foles came back. He's not running the same offense that Carson Wentz had.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, but
in his last game of the season, without any preparation, anytime testing out, you're going to try a super complicated offense.
I didn't say super complicated.
Or even a more complicated offense against Bill
Give him
Belichick.
some different type of plays.
I feel like you don't change the play, you change the formation.
There we go. That's what I was about to say. Greg Jennings on the Herd last week said.
I was just listening to that.
What you're supposed to do is that you're going to do the same plays, but you have to make it look different.
You
Right?
change the
So
formations
the
up.
defense, because once the defense knows what you're going to do, they start flying around, and that's when it gets dangerous for the offensive players. So we all know that Nick Foles is going to do the run pass option, but at least make it look like something else, Doug Peterson. Because if not, your boy's going
Belichick
to
will pick you
yeah, it's
apart.
going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Like once Belichick and Matt Patricia start sending pressure, which they hardly ever do, like with multiple people, then you know you're screwed. You know they're in their zone.
Let's talk about the most important matchup of the Super Bowl. Can the Eagles' defensive line put pressure on Tom Brady without blitzing him?
That's the thing.
Because if you blitz
What's the
Brady,
man's name? Schwartz, who used to coach the Detroit Lions,
yeah, I know what you're
right?
talking about.
He loves blitzing linebackers and stuff, bringing people off the edge. Well, you can't really
You can't blitz Brady
You you just
because
have
you
to
need
send.
8 guys
Yeah,
in coverage. You need 6
exactly.
guys, 7, 8 guys in
When you
coverage.
start sending your linebackers like
Brady
off the
will pick you
edge, you're
apart.
just gonna start dumping it off to
You're
the
just gonna
running
see
backs.
Amendola somewhere over the middle. You're just
Yeah.
gonna get 5
So
yards.
I'm as a Patriot fan, I'm pretty happy that who the defense coordinator is because he's gonna want to put on
Schwartz
a
is gonna put
show.
on a lot of
He's
pressure on
gonna want to
Brady.
put on a show like it's a big risk, big reward. If he does that and Brady's on his behind all the time, like oh my God, greatest defensive coach play against Brady other than Coughlin without the 4-man pressure. But if he blitzes like 7 guys, even 6 guys, somebody's open.
I like the team right now because this is the one reason why I have the Eagles in the game. Brady has problems against teams that have astonishingly good defensive line. The Giants put pressure on him, Michael Strahan.
That's a different type of
The
pressure.
Broncos put pressure on him, with
It's
Von
also a
Miller.
different type of pressure.
Yeah, this is pressure where he can come up the middle and on the side. The whole 4
Okay,
starting lineup is first round draft
what's
picks.
harder for Brady?
Chris Long is a future Hall of Famer.
Come on, you know what's harder for Brady is when you don't have to blitz linebackers to get pressure. Now that's what the Giants and the
The
Jaguars.
Eagles don't have to blitz linebackers.
But they do.
That's the
their
problem.
Whole game
If
plan.
he blitzes linebackers to put pressure, then Brady will pick you apart.
What will Schwartz do? What does he always do?
If Schwartz is smart, he'll allow his 4 guys to grow.
Grow in the last.
Go,
Like you said,
not grow.
okay.
Go,
All right,
go.
think about it. Something has gotten them to the Super Bowl. In his mind, he's like, it got me here.
But
So why change it?
you can never do the same thing against Brady.
What is he? He's thinking in his mind as a coach who's he's been coaching for so long, and now he's in the Super Bowl for the like. What do you think he's gonna do? Okay, we have all these. We have Brady here, but also I think I'm a great defensive coordinator. I can send some heat. All he hears is Brady doesn't like pressure. Brady doesn't like pressure, and he said I'm the best at sending pressure right now. So he's going to
The
send
thing
that
is,
pressure.
the Eagles' defensive back, the Jaguars were the team that had the chance. We saw what happened with them. Their defensive back was good enough where you could say they can send pressure and they can trust themselves.
They didn't even blitz on linebackers, and he still threw 200.
No. At the start of the game, the Jaguars tried to apply pressure to Brady.
They blitzed on linebackers.
Not a lot. They tried to apply pressure.
And that's the difference.
The thing is, I feel like if you have Graham, you have Cox, you have Beard, you have Long.
I would agree.
They can get to Brady.
I would agree, but if your whole identity for 16 games plus
It's
these
blitzing
playoff games is blitzing linebackers, you're not going to change.
The thing is,
that.
like, you start sending Miles Kendricks off the outside, and you don't have anybody to cover the flat. If you don't have anybody to cover the flat, you see Brady just dump it off to James White.
That's why I'm excited for the game.
The other reason why I like the Patriots is because the Eagles' defensive line is suspect to the running game. Not because they can't stop the running game. It's because those guys get their ears pinned back and they want to get sacks.
Yeah.
And if Brady gives them a couple draws, they run a couple QB. Not QB. What am I talking about? They run a couple HB up the middle.
Even if you start going outside, right? Because last week they couldn't go outside because their defense is so fast.
Yeah.
But those linebackers for Philadelphia don't really fly around.
They're not as fast. There's no Jalen Smith.
Brandon Cooks and James White doing jet sweeps, and then you have those defense going sideways. Fletcher Cox, all right, we know he's great. But
Telvin Smith, John Jalen.
He's not catching. He's not sprinting out like that, like 3 plays in a row. That's what I would do. Josh McDaniels, get your guys in space.
This is what I see it. I see Brady is liable for 24 points, 20 to 24 points. Agree?
Yeah.
At the minimum, he's going to get you 20 to 24 points. So then, this is what I said. I called this with the Saints Vikings game about 3 weeks ago. So I said, this is not the matchup we should be talking about. We know Brady will get 20 to 24 points. If Brady goes over 24 points, they win. If he goes under 20 points, they lose. But the threshold is if the Eagles can hold Brady to 20 to 24 points, can Nick Foles be liable to outscore him?
Yeah, that's That's the big thing. Will that defense be able to give Nick Foles enough chances to score
Yeah,
points?
because if Brady puts up 30 points, he wins the Super Bowl.
If Belichick has you punting in the Super Bowl,
You can't go 3-and-out.
That's
Jacksonville, perfect example last
yeah.
week. You get the big fumble, and then you
Three
go
and out.
3-and-out, and it's like it never happened. If they could have put a field goal on the board, that would have ended the game.
See, the other thing is the Patriots' Super Bowl victories in the last 10 years have not been wide margin.
They've been about
They're
4 points.
like 3 points, 4 points.
Besides the Falcons game,
yeah,
and now went into overtime.
So if you think about it, Eagles, if you would have any chance, you want
If you're
to
the
try
Eagles,
to score as
by the way,
much as you
do
can.
you play for overtime, or do you try to end the game in regulation?
In the game, you're going to give Brady extra time.
True, because you don't want Brady to have that last
I
drive
want Brady
to score.
on the sideline while I'm driving down.
So if you're the Eagles, you use LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Run that
and you use
ball.
him to eat up clock.
Run that ball.
Because he's liable to get you 2-3 yards to carry.
Run that ball. Run the ball. And Ajayi, they have a pretty good running offense. That's what Nick Foles also needs to do. Maybe not. Look, that could be the wrinkle. Instead of always run pass option, just some straight runs.
The Patriots are liable. Are not liable. The Patriots' defensive line have problems with the run.
I don't know about that though.
They do.
We thought that too. I thought that too. As a fan, I thought that too last week. But what they did to Leonard Fournette.
True.
That's the thing. Would you?
The playoff Patriots is so different.
What do you want, Belichick? What do you want? What would you rather?
If I'm Doug Peterson, I'm starting off the game and I'm using Blunt.
Okay.
I'm going to get those safeties walked up. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to find plays where I'm going to have Nick Foles throw the ball in early downs.
Yes.
I'm not going to make the pressure on him on third down to complete a pass. I'm going to allow him to get a first down. I'm going to throw the ball on first down, run it with Blount on second, give him a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If he doesn't complete the first down pass, give him a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 7, make him a little bit more comfortable.
At one point in the Jaguars game, Patrick Chung became a linebacker.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally over the tackle. And the Jaguars seemed like they didn't care at all. They were going to keep running these dives, and I'm like, okay. Look.
And if I'm Doug Peterson, I want Foles to be comfortable, so I'm not going to overcomplicate the offense. I'm just allowing him to play his game.
Couple straight runs, couple gun run pass options, and
I hope he can get 3 touchdowns. So I feel if Nick Foles can score 3 touchdowns, he might win the game.
He has a chance.
He will win the game. Let me change that. If he can, if he has long drives, 4. Let me put up to 4. If he gets 4 touchdowns, he will win the game. If he has 3 touchdowns, or the Eagles' offense have 3 touchdowns, it's a good chance they win the game.
Like you said before, for the Jaguars, and you didn't give the Titans any chance, someone did. But for the Jaguars, if you want to have any chance, you need to keep Brady off the field.
You need to pressure Brady, and you need to keep off the field.
As soon as he comes in,
so you need to run the ball with Blunt.
Run the ball with Blunt.
Run the ball with Jay Ajayi.
The only problem, and I'm kind of happy about this, the only problem with the Eagles' defense is they need to send linebackers.
Because the Eagles' defense, to me, is suspect. Or on the passing defense. Their D-line can get to Brady. But if Brady gets the ball off, he ate up that Jaguars defense. That Jaguars defense was the Legion of Boom. And
I'm sorry, Malcolm Jenkins is kind of an old man.
Yeah.
I mean, Mills is a good corner. What's his name? Roby? Not Roby.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a pretty good corner. I don't know the other safety's
name.
But
they're not as good as the Jaguars. They're not Jalen Ramsey. They're not Balji. What's his name? The other cornerback.
Bouye. I'm not afraid as a fan for Brady to be playing against this defense.
And the thing is, Brady picked them. This is a question for you. How many points is too much for Brady to overcome in the fourth quarter? I mean, is Brady the real quote-unquote Matty Ice?
Well, how much are they down in the fourth?
I have a number for you.
In the Falcons?
The Super Bowl against the Eagles, Super Bowl against the Seahawks, another bird.
Twice.
Super Bowl against the Falcons, and an AFC Championship against the Jaguars last year. Tom Brady and company have outscored all three teams combined 47-3 in the fourth quarter.
Well, then, based on that number,
I mean,
it would take at least a 28-point lead in the fourth.
I think if you have a 20-point lead on Tom Brady, you don't really start easing off you don't take your hand off his throat, but you can feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you're under 14 points, I don't care if he has 2 minutes left.
Under 14,
he's liable to get you 2 touchdowns in the fourth.
Once once
And
once
Tom Brady and company have no problem winning by 3.
yeah, that's the thing. Once it was once it was 20 to 17 last week,
Yeah.
and Brady had the ball and he was driving, I was confident. I said it's over right
And
here.
that's the thing about the Patriots is that if the Patriots are down in a fourth, they would be confident because they know Brady's at the rim, but at the will. But if you're the Eagles and you're down in the fourth, and you
Hear
know,
Nick Foles.
yeah, and you hear Nick Foles has to lead our team to the championship, to the promised land, are you comfortable? You're definitely not as comfortable as if you have Tom Brady. Ask LeGarrette Blount or Chris Long. They were former Patriots, but
Yeah, I mean it was kind of like last week. I mean, I didn't think once they scored, I knew it was over. But I didn't
yeah,
think Blake Bortles when Blake Bortles got sacked. But once he got that strip, when James Harrison got that strip sack fumble, I was like, okay, Blake Bortles' confidence is kind of shattered right
it's
now.
shot.
Then he had the incomplete pass to Garrett Blount, and I was like, okay. And then Stephon Gilmore, great deflection. I was like, yeah, Blake Bortles, you did. He had a great game, but once it's in his hands to win in Foxborough, he was kind of doomed.
Yeah, I mean he went against Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick did what he did best in the second half. He's he's Nick Saban on steroids
Yeah,
because they both walk in. It's a system. This is what I wanted to talk to you guys about before. Every team that Brady has played so far has been athletes. Marcus Mariota, Derrick Henry. Last week, Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Fournette, Boye. All those guys are Telvin Smith. Who's the other linebacker?
Miles Jack.
Miles Jack. The whole team is Calais Campbell. They're athletes. Brady has been playing athletes his whole entire career. Patriots are not athletes. They are the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs. They are
Yeah.
Tim Duncan. They are Ginobili. They are Tony Parker. They are a system, and this is the thing about a system. Systems don't get tired. Systems run forever. That's why I use Netflix. That's why I use Google. That's why I use Microsoft. Why? Because they're reliable. They don't need marketing. They don't need commercials. They're reliable. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are reliable. They have as many Super Bowl appearances as any other franchise in the NFL history. They have 8 Super Bowl appearances. Cowboys have 8 Super Bowl appearances. Steelers have 8 Super Bowl appearances. The Packers have 8 Super Bowl appearances. Belichick and Brady have 8 Super Bowl appearances. They're reliable. They have a system in place where you can give and take players. You can fire workers, but the brand stays. You can fire workers at McDonald's, but McDonald's food will still taste like McDonald's. It's not the shelves in McDonald's that make the food taste the way it is. It's reliable, it's simple, it's not flashy. They're not the Legion of Boom, they're not Sextonville, they're not the Dirty Birds, they're not
The
the underdogs of this week.
underdogs.
They're the New England Patriots. They are reliable. They are that old 1999 car that you drive because you know it'll work no matter what the conditions are. It's that old pickup truck. It's a system. All right, well, before we wrap it up, how do you feel about people still blaming the referees?
For the Patriot win?
For all the Patriots win, they always come up with some type of BS excuse.
See, as a fan, I've gotten used to it. I kind of block it out.
But like the Jacksonville game last week, it's not the referee's fault that you go 3-0 on a game on a drive that will put the game away.
First of all, what was the score at halftime?
They were up by what?
Before they scored a touchdown at half.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, here's the thing. For people all saying that Boye's pass interference was pass interference,
It was.
Boye's head didn't turn till the ball hit the ground. Boye also had his hand wrapped around my guy's waist. Number 2, Brandon Cooks doesn't just run out of bounds for no reason. It was the referee literally, like, if you look at the game, he literally drove him out of bounds. Not super aggressively, but in a legal manner prohibited him from catching the ball.
Sooner or later,
And right before that, Barry Church decided to go spear Gronkowski in the head. And I hate those targeting calls because I love physical football. But when I saw a 6'7" beast of a man collapse on the field, there's a reason.
I feel like that was the best thing to happen to Brady because then he opened up the field and just went to work with Amendola. But this is what I wanted to talk to you about. There's reached a certain point in life where you have to take responsibility for your actions.
Yep.
So instead of blaming the referees, instead of blaming Deflategate, Instead of blaming Spygate, which was a decade ago, they have what? They've won 2 Super Bowls and been in one since.
Yeah.
So they have 3 Super Bowl appearances. Went 2-1 of those Super Bowl appearances since Spygate. Deflategate wasn't a real thing. There's a time where you have to look at yourself and say we're not as good.
Yeah, I mean, and
Maybe we're doing something wrong.
maybe exactly. The Patriots have a superior system, like John was saying, a system that is reliable and consistent.
You can
A
take Randy
superior
Moss,
system.
Hernandez, all of them out the system,
All of the system,
and they still works.
and it still works.
There's nothing else to say.
Nothing else to say, but
I mean,
wow.
look, Tom Brady lost Edelman at the start of the year. He lost Amendola, who thank God he came back. He lost the other guy, and it works.
On a week-to-week basis, you don't know who Brady's weapons will be.
The thing is, the Patriots, like we broke down before, position by position wise, or position group, they're usually not the better team athletically. I mean, we gave them the edge in coaching, which is not even a football position on the field. It's extremely important, but it's not. The edge in quarterback, which is one player, it's not, and a position group and edge in defensive back slightly.
And the coach of the defensive backs is Belichick. So
yeah, I mean, I think actually the Jags on special teams are better too.
Yeah.
So all these advantages the Jags have, and I still have the Patriots in the what? I have a 6-point spread. I passed win by 6.
I think it'll be the 6. Yeah, I agree. 6-point spread, just because the margin of victory for Super Bowls for Patriots are low, and the Eagles don't have a win in the Super Bowl.
But I would not be surprised if Tom Brady does pick apart this team with his unreliable D-backs and Nick Foles at the wheel. I would not be surprised if Tom Brady blows them out.
Yeah, I think
that's not my pick, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I've never seen a real blowout in the Super Bowl, but other than Peyton Manning and Cam Newton.
Yeah, that was nasty.
No,
Seahawks and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Seahawks and Peyton Manning. I
was
Legion of Boom. Happy. That was crazy.
And they came back and they played Tom Brady the next year, and that was probably the end of the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, it was rough, but yeah, it's come on. There's nothing else to say. It's like they have a chance. Eagles have a chance. Just because football, anything can happen, and because they do have some great athletes. And if they listen to John McCray-Jones, don't blitz your linebackers against Brady. But if they do, and run the ball, but if they do, then it's going to be a long game. It's going to be a long day.
All right, so this is a very long, in-depth look at the Super Bowl. Probably the most in-depth look at the Super Bowl you'll find anywhere on the internet.
Yes, sir.
So we'll have to give you guys a thank you for listening to us. Final picks, I'm going Patriots win by 6.
Patriots win by 7 or 8.
So you heard it here. Patriots win by a touchdown. And I'll see you guys next week with the results, and we'll start breaking down NBA and March Madness.
Yeah.
I know it's not football, but
yeah.
Don't be surprised if we start skipping weeks on the podcast. Oh, we have the NFL draft too,
yeah,
so
right.
something positive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll start talking about LeBron and Harden and the rest of those guys and Trae Young.